Hello and a very good evening and welcome to another edition of the Netball Online Show. Great to be back. We did have a week off to a certain degree last week. Obviously we had the one show talking about what was happening in Hampton League news, I guess, in regards to the COVID-19 and the lockdown and so forth. And well, today some great news, Trish Butters, as I introduce you. We're back playing this weekend. It was absolutely sensational. Last night there was a Hampton League meeting and followed by a big discussion or forum with the club presidents, which decided we're going to see some action this weekend. Unfortunately, no crowds, but I think it's just great that we're back up and running again. Oh,
absolutely, and I think that was the message. Last week, coaches on clubs were saying, no, we won't play without crowds, but then with the news yesterday that it was going to be at least another 2 weeks that, they needed to get out. Mental health of players became number one in the end, and getting people back on the park and playing and participating.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know there's going to be a financial hit. You know, obviously that's there's no shirking the issue there, and hopefully, clubs that have financial obligation with players and so forth, there can be an arrangement made there, which I've got no doubt the players will be more than happy to oblige to assist the club in these sort of times. But yeah, it was always going to be interesting just to see what the next fortnight was going to look like, just because we know that restrictions are 2 weeks in place. Had we not played netball or football over the next 2 weeks, what was our season going to look like? And that was going to probably be the interesting one. May have been 2 more rounds before finals.
Yep.
Clubs that are not in contention, how interested are they? So there's a lot of different variables that went into the decision, no doubt, especially that discussion too.
Yeah, and cost for clubs with the home games.
Yeah.
And you talk about players, but there's umpires, that's one of the biggest costs at the moment, and trying to make it fair that it's shared, the load's shared between all the teams with home games. So I think that's where we'll be looking at going over the next couple of weeks. The rounds will stand as they are, round 11 and round 12, and then the next two we'll look at. It'll probably stay.
13,
hopefully
14,
we're right.
touch wood.
But maybe the home games might change around just to make it even and to make it fair on all clubs for home games. So it is nice to be back out. Otherwise, it would have been 4 weeks. Now, as you say, after 4 weeks off, who's going to want to come back if you're down the bottom?
All going well, and we see the next 4 weeks go, through without any issues.
Yep.
I reckon we've done pretty well this season to get 14 home and away season games and only miss 4.
Absolutely, yeah, and I think, I think everyone's appreciated that, and it's just trying to keep people out there and socially connected because we feel a bit disconnected when we're in lockdown. Let's face it.
Well, I think the last week and a bit, a lot of people have probably gotten bored of it because they've done the lockdown thing and there's only so much you can do. It does get a little bit boring. So I think to have that socialising, not with just your club people, but opposition and so forth too. I think everyone will be looking forward to it. Hey, we're going to go to the Zoom and catch up with our special guest tonight. It is the acting coach or the assistant coach of the Koroit Saints in Emily Rose Finnegan. And Emily, thanks for joining us. What an unusual time it's been. It must be nice to be heading into this weekend knowing that you're going to see some netball.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone's pretty keen to get back into it. Hopefully we can get these 4 games in before finals. But just take each week as it comes, but very keen to get going again.
Emily Rose, it's great to see you back. I know you won't be playing, you've got a new little baby, but it's great to see you back in some capacity on court side. So where do you think Koroit's sitting at the moment, coming into the last 4 weeks before finals? How are they travelling?
It's been a bit of an up and down season. We've got a lot of younger girls coming through, which is fantastic. There's some great talent out at Koroit. So it has been a little bit of a learning curve for a few of them, finding their feet and getting settled into senior netball. It's a big step from sort of under 15s, under 17s up into the open. But they're all doing really good, and it's very good having, our MBAT at one end, Nell Mitchell at the other, Rachel Dobson, a few of those older heads in there to help guide them. But in saying that, it has been a little bit up and down. We had a really good last game against Portland, which was our final game before we've had these couple of weeks off. So it would have been good to keep that consistency going. But, hopefully we can pick it up again this week against Terang and keep the girls a bit more settled. That's been our main thing. We've got a lot of versatility in our team, so trying to get it settled more into that set 7 positions is what we've been focusing on.
Hey, Emily Rose, it's probably been a different Koroit outfit, probably this year and maybe, perhaps this season before, in the fact that, we're used to seeing those, those really older experienced players like Bowman and Dobson and Foster and, a lot of these players where we probably don't see much of that now. We've seen, the next generation come through, which I think's ultra exciting. You still got the likes of M. Batt and so forth, but just to see the next generation come through, I think it's really exciting for the club.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we've got to get those juniors coming through. It's the future of the club, and that's something Koroit's really strong on in the football and the netball, that you sort of get your players going through from the junior ranks and then they stick around and you benefit from it in the long run. But, yeah, there's some really, really good girls coming up through the ranks, which is very exciting.
So just looking at the ladder, Em, you've got, it's pretty tight. From 3rd to 6th, there's 2 points separating. Warrnambool have got a little break with 2 points, and then Koroit North and Camperdown all on 24. And looking at your run home, you have, who have you got this week? Terang, Mortlake, then you've got, now let's just imagine we've got 4 games. Cobden, and where else we got in there? South Warrnambool and North. So pretty tough run home as well.
Absolutely, yeah. But having a look at the last fixture, pretty much all of the teams play each other, so it's just going to be a matter of who beats who as to who gets in. So not ideal that we've had these few weeks off, because we would like to have had a bit of match play and training behind us so that we're feeling a little bit more settled and ready for the games. But it is what it is, and everyone's in the same boat, so we just got to go out there and play. It's whoever plays best on the day, really.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it could be an interesting, I'll be looking forward to that fourth round at North versus Koroit. Could be a big decider there. So as you say, I look through it too, and yeah, they do all play one another, and it sort of works out quite fair in the end, I guess. Yeah. But it will be, as you say, whoever's best on the day.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And
that's it. It's sort of a knockout, really. Each week you got to win to keep going.
Yeah, exactly.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
It is. It's good for the competition, there's no doubt about it. Now, I'm not going to keep you too much longer because you've got little Freddie there in the background, and I know that he wants mum, so we do appreciate you jumping on tonight. Want to ask you a question. Millie Jennings, come over from the Portland Tigers. What an impact she's had this year. She's been enormous for you guys.
She has. She's a very talented netballer. I don't know the on the bench and we go, how did she get that? Beautiful, clean, just goes out, does her job very well. And yeah, she's very exciting. We're lucky that we picked her up to play at Koroit. So she's going to be very exciting for us in the coming years.
Yeah, you've got a lot of young ones through your mid-court there, and as you say, the reliable people at the end. I laugh that we call Nell Mitchell, one of the older brigade. She's not that old herself, but I just looked at her and she's shooting over 30, 40 every week for you, so she's a great standby, obviously.
Absolutely.
Hey, Em, I'm going to let you go because I know that little Freddie wants you, so we do appreciate your time. Great to see you, back in action with the Koroit Saints, and we wish you all the very best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks, guys.
We won't see you on the court, will we, Em?
Maybe.
Okay,
yes.
There we go.
Love it.
Wait and see.
Wait and see.
Oh,
okay.
Great job. Emily Rose Finnegan from the Koroit Saints, who's the assistant coach. Obviously, Daniel McInerney's made the trip up to Townsville, a new living arrangement, but I know she's pretty keen to come back and still, fulfil her role as coach over the next coming weeks and obviously finals. So I reckon that's absolutely terrific by Danielle. But gee, to have Emily Rose, but also Jackie Bowman, just sort of in the background there, able to assist. I think very, very lucky the club.
Oh, they've got lots of leaders at their club and have over many years. This is why they've won so many premierships, and so it's great to see those people giving back. And and Danielle, hopefully COVID allowing, her plans are to be back here by finals time, and to, I assume, lead them to another premiership.
Well, I'll tell you what, they're in a good spot at the moment.
It's an even season.
Oh, it is an even season. And, like looking at these games this week, the Cobden Camperdown is a real crucial one for Camperdown.
Yeah.
They're sitting in that 6th position and, obviously they need to take a scalp because they've got a pretty hard run home. I think they have South Warrnambool next week. So, a big 2 weeks coming up. And if there are any chance, obviously they'll want results to go their way, in other games, but they've just got to go out and win, don't they?
Yeah, they play all the teams above them on the ladder, and they have to win. Maybe not this week against Cobden.
Oh.
Let's face it. Look, we don't know. 4 weeks, well, 2 weeks off.
They could just come out and go bang. We just don't know.
I'm assuming that would help out Ruby Schlitt-Pekin, like she was just coming back from injury, and I reckon 2 weeks would really help her and bring her fitness up. But yeah, that Cobden team, that gives Sophie Hinkley another 2 weeks.
Nadine, another bit more of a rest too, because she's had her battles this year as well.
They have. They've had a lot of battles with injury, those two. And we know they're former best and fairest winners, so we know how good they are. So to have them back into the team is huge for them. So big battle for them this week, for sure.
Absolutely. Hey, let's look at this weekend's games, and I'm going to ask you a bit of I guess, 3/4 of the way season tip for our Netballer of the Year as well. I want to get your thoughts on who's sort of leading the charge there. So first game we're going to look at is Hamilton taking on the Warrnambool Blues. Gee, the Blues are playing some nice netball at the moment, sitting inside the top 3. Had a great win against the Roosters a couple of weeks ago, and they're hitting the form, their best form at the right end of the season.
Yeah, they certainly are. And I'm just looking who they've got. They've got probably the best run home.
Yep.
They play 2 above and 2 below. So, they'll be really looking to hang on to third spot. They're very reliant on Amy Wormel to stand up and play, and she makes everyone else play around her. I noticed in the last game it was great to see Jess Thwaites back playing at her best. I think it's fair to say she hasn't been playing at her best this year. It's struggled to fit in, and it was great to see her back shooting 19, 20 goals. She's a talented player.
Oh, good player.
And it's all confidence. So it's great to see her get her confidence back.
But not an easy game though, because Hamilton's best stacks up pretty well, I think.
Oh, I think they're pretty evenly matched, to be honest.
Yeah.
Holly Phillips, as we kept talking about Holly, she needs to be stopped. Emma Cust will be a big game for her, I would think, on Holly. It'll be an interesting experience against youth.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I reckon Emma will be keeping a close check on young Holly, so that should be a great game. South Warrnambool, North Warrnambool, the game of the day for mine, and obviously it's our Hampton League Live match of the day as well. So looking forward to trying to peek an eye over there in the commentary position. But this is going to be a first-class game.
Yeah, it will be. They're pretty evenly matched, and over the last few seasons, even before Annie Blackburn came back in, I think the North and the South games have been great games.
A bit of a rivalry there? Is there a bit of a rivalry there? Or is it just good battles?
I just think they're pretty, both got those young, fast players, and I just think they're very evenly matched and have been for quite some time.
Yep.
Bringing Annie in is a big in for them, obviously. But North have got some good players that have come up and have developed. Rachel Ryan's a good back.
Yeah, and she's probably better off, where she was last time when these two sides played, because she was only very early coming back into netball after having some time away. So, she's a good 10, 11 games in now.
Oh, and she's improving every week. Yeah. Like her skill level is improving every week.
So will she get Annie? Or will she go to Maris?
Well, depends how South play.
Yeah.
Rachel's a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
She's played a little bit out, but that's her role.
Yeah.
She's tall.
Where Annie's probably played more goal attack this year, hasn't she?
More goal attack and Olivia Maris back.
Yeah.
So I would imagine they'll play the same way. It's hard for tall girls to play on short girls.
Yeah,
they can't find them. So it's quite tactical to do that.
So then if that's the case, who then gets Annie in goal attack? Who plays your goal?
Goal defence.
Yeah.
It'll be either Jordan or Georgia.
Yeah,
Jordan
right.
Billings or Georgia.
Yeah. Gee, that'd be a good matchup.
Absolutely.
They won't be giving their old teammate any room, I would have thought.
No. And she won't be either. She won't be taking a step back. I think North's real strength is their defence. Their back three is a great back three, and they play really well together. They've been, Georgia Corbett's been moving a little bit into the centre to cover Sky when she's been injured. 2 weeks will really help her with her calf injury. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm assuming she's maybe back this week. Who knows? Or maybe she'll wait. It'd be a bit silly to come back.
You don't want to go too early, obviously, knowing that you're more than likely to play finals, and you just want to preserve yourself.
Exactly, and it's going to be another shocker on Saturday.
You're going to be
We've
pretty...
had 3 shocking Saturdays. So, cold, wet, slippery.
And it gets windy up at the friendlies as well.
Oh, yeah. It'll be wet. So, it'll be a great game. I don't know. I wish I knew if Sky was playing, I would pick North. I'll go with South.
They'll be keen to bounce back too.
They sure will.
They obviously went down to Warrnambool there a couple of weeks ago. Terrain, what they take on Koroit. The Bloods, we've seen some improvement throughout the course of the year. I reckon Liz Fowler will be absolutely wrapped with the way their team's going. Some good young kids. Brooke Hall's come on. Rhiannon Davis has played some good netball as that senior player. But the Croydon Saints, they've got a lot to play for, and they won't be wanting to give this one away.
No, this is one of those games, as we're talking about hard run in, this is one of the games that they would be penciling in that they need to win and win well. Percentage is going to come into it in the last 5. So everyone wants to get that coveted second chance.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be 4th and 5th, really.
No.
You can win it from there. North won it from there.
They did, but you want that double
but
chance.
It's tough.
Yeah.
And especially with the run home they're all playing one another. They've got a hard run of games, and then to go into a final series and have to win 3 more and not drop a game. It's a tough one to win from. It will be definitely tough. So I think Croydon will be wanting to win this and win this well, but Terang Mortlake,
they won't lie down.
They will not lie down. We keep forgetting Jackie Arundel, she's just performing every week as well.
Beautiful player.
And standing up with Ree as well.
Yeah.
So, but I think Croydon.
Yeah,
for sure.
This should be another great game. Portland Tigers take on Port Fairy, 2 really young emerging sides, and their best is really good, Portland, and the same with Port Fairy. The Seagulls have had a few injuries to some key senior players, but the kids have really relished the chance this year. We had young Maddie Green on a couple of weeks ago, and she's playing some really nice netball. And then on the flip side, the Tigers got some great kids coming through too, so really looking forward to this one.
This will be closey, it's going to be a really hard one to pick, and I think Portland won the first time around against Port Fairy, and they would have been excited with that because they've had a pretty tough run over the last few years, not winning that many games, and I think that sort of boosted their season, to be honest. Then they came out and won another game.
Yeah, they won 3 or 4 for the season.
Mate.
I reckon they would have been maybe 3.
Not 4, maybe 3.
Yeah.
And so that's a bonus.
Yeah.
Let's face it, that's a bonus for them because they are developing and they're very good in attack. And we've been saying that for years. They're still developing their defenders and they've put some young people in there and they're going to take time.
Yeah.
Hang on to them. That's
well, and I guess when you're coming up against a plethora of goal shooters we've got in the league, it's a tough job being a defender.
Absolutely.
Blackburn, Maris, Billings, Tani Porter's a good youngster, Holly Phillips, Wormald, Nell Mitchell, Rachel Dobson,
Emily Finch.
Emily Finch,
they don't miss.
Oh, you can name everyone from every side.
Yeah.
They've all got great shooters.
They're very strong in goals. And it's a tough gig you need a good, strong defensive end. But they're doing okay, and I think it'll be a good battle because they'll be playing up against 2 other juniors, Tara Elliott, and name escapes me. I can see her face. I'll come back. I'll think of it. But they are both young girls. One of them came across from Hamilton this year.
Yeah, I know who you're saying. I just can't think of the name.
I can't think of her name either. Sorry.
Off the top of my mind.
The top of her head.
A bit rusty.
Yeah, it is very rusty. So they are young too.
Yeah.
So there'll be a
good
decent
head-to-head.
battle.
Yep.
It'll be a decent battle. So, I don't even know. I'm going to go Port Fairy just to tip the scale for a change.
Yeah, I think the Tigers, they're playing probably a bit better in my mind. And a tip for this one, we've spoken about this game. Cobden taking on Camperdown. Must win for the Magpies. The Bombers, I think they've got a 2-game or maybe a 2.5-game buffer up the top, so they're going really nicely to take the minor premiership, but they'll still want to have a really good run into finals.
Oh yeah, they'll be wanting a hit out. I haven't played for a few weeks, and it's all about getting on the court and trying different combinations for them, I think. So I think they'll win. Camperdown will take it up to them, but I think they'll win, and I think they'll win easy.
Okay, there we go. So that's round 11 matches this weekend in the Hampton Football Netball League in our Open Division Netball. Now, before we go, and I'm going to ask you a question very soon, Trish, we must thank all important sponsors. So our league sponsors, McDonald's, do a great job supporting our local community. We've got SunGold Fresh Local Milk. Was it strawberry was your choice? Yeah, I'm still surprised by that. So Billy Slater and the team.
I'm a pink girl.
Yeah, you're a pink girl. Yeah. Very good. So we thank Billy Slater and the team. We can't forget the team at Powercore. Great to have them on board in 2021, along with Lindock Living, who are doing some big major works down there at the moment too. So it's exciting times down at Lindock Living. And Miss Kit in Croydon Street in Warrnambool for all your beauty needs, and they've got that terrific beauty school as well. So if you're looking to get into that line of work and you want to do some really good training, Miss Kit, Jodie and the team offer that. So Miss Kit in Croydon Street, Warrnambool, and they're obviously our sponsor of our MVP award as well. So we thank them for their support of this year's season. Give me a couple of names before we go that you think could be featuring high in our League Best and Fairest award.
Ellie O'Connor, South Warrnambool. I think Amy Wormald Warrnambool. Amy's a standout, but she doesn't always...
Gets a bit angry, Amy.
She doesn't always befriend herself with umpires that much. But I think she's had games I've seen her play, she has actually been able to hold her temper much better and play really good. She's an amazing netballer. She doesn't have to pull the heads at the umpires. But really good player. Let me think.
One more name.
Look, I don't know about this, but I think Sky Billings from North, and you can't tell because she's the coach, she never puts herself in the best place. But she's very important to that team. And so, I don't know, there's a lot of other people taking votes, but they're my thoughts.
Yeah, there you go.
I had a whole spreadsheet 2 weeks ago. I haven't got anything tonight, but they're the things off the top of my head.
Amy Wormald and Sky Billings, your top 3 at the moment. Yeah, I like the suggestions. Hey Trish, thanks for coming in. We're not going to have you next week.
No, I'm heading off to sunny Darwin.
You're going to Darwin, so pink dress up at Darwin Cup or?
Yeah, I might do. I don't know, or the red dress, one or the other.
So
I don't know, whatever I can fit into, to be honest.
So we're going to have to put the call out for a replacement next week to join me behind the hosting chair here. But I hope you have a great time up there, up at Darwin, and we look forward to speaking to you in 2 weeks' time. But as we said, great to have local footy and netball back up and running, despite no spectators, but hopefully we'll see the spectators back soon.
Yeah, definitely. Certainly by finals.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
We'll see you at the netball court on Saturday.